Everybody, so we're going to have a look now at creating an infographic, and I'm going to use a piece of software that I've mentioned before called Piktochart. There it is, and I'm using Piktochart partly because it's got free templates that I can use to get me actually started. So it loads as shown. You can watch that little demo if you wish. Start for free. And it's just loading. Give it a few moments to load, and this will give me a number of different options. I want to do a infographic, so I'm going to click on infographic, double click on that, and I've got these free templates here, and I've used this one here and this one here, and it will automatically save. If I go to my dashboard, it'll actually show you what you've had a go at creating already. I'm going to, for the purposes of this tutorial, just get you started with, I'm going to use that one there, so I'm going to select that template there, and that's going to give me a background already set up and a sort of dummy template, if you like, that I can modify, change the colours and so on and so forth. So I'm pretty happy with that sort of layout, although I can change any of these parts. These are all live. Look, that little graphic there, and that white background there, and that text there, and this chart over here, and titles and so on and so forth. Now, it's worth remembering that not everything along this top bar is actually live for you to use. Let's have a look what we've got down this left hand side. We've got different shapes we can use, and we can scroll through those. Bear in mind that some of these will allow you to change the colour of them, and some of them won't let you actually change the colour because this is a free template. The animated icons, these are moving icons that you could use, but you've got to subscribe to use those. You've got different line types and styles, which are very basic, to be honest. We've got photos there, look. Most of those you can use. I don't think you'll use them at all for this exercise. And then you've got some photo frames that you can have a play about with. Now, a lot of these you can use, and if I actually scroll down these, if you like the shape of one particularly, you can actually, so if you like that one there, for example, the circle stripe timeline year, you can use that. If I click on that, I can actually pull that across. Look, it's there, and I can drop a photograph in that if I so wish. And it will allow me to manipulate this background shape and also my photograph. But I'm just going to delete that for now. So that's what's on that menu. We've got an uploads area here, and you're going to need to use this. If you look in there, you can see the John Reeves and the Alvo altar that I've actually uploaded already, that I've taken from my research information. If I want to browse my images there, I'm going to look on my desktop, and I've actually put an Alvar chair there. If I open that, that's going to go from my desktop, and that's going to upload down here somewhere. I'm not sure how much space it's going to use, but let's have a little look to see where it actually is. There it is, look. And I can click on that. There it is. If I click off it, I can click on again, shift, grab that corner and take that down and maneuver it around my page to suit. And like I've said to you, I can drop that wherever I want. You'll also notice that these orangey coloured guidelines, they're helping me to centre text and centre text boxes and photographs and so on and so forth. So I've already got some information in here. This information that I've used on the sample, I've used these images that I used in my research, so they've already been sourced and the information's there in my research. We've got text, different sorts of text, if we want to jazz that up a bit. We've got colour schemes, which it says there, level up. We've got tools for charts, maps, if we want to put maps, or if we want to do this electronically, which you're not doing, you're going to have a hard copy, that's what you're going to present. you can have videos in there. So you could put a video link in there as well. Now the last thing is the backgrounds. Okay, and what these backgrounds actually do, and some of them are pretty, well, pretty crazy, I think. It will allow me to change the background on some of this. So I don't know if that's going to work or not, but some of these will allow me to change the background. So it's a case of having a little play and see what you think. It's not letting me actually change any of these at this moment in time, which to be quite honest with you, I don't have a problem with, because some of them are not my cup of tea anyway. But yeah, you can change some of the backgrounds should you so wish, of the actual infographic itself. So that just gives you a little bit of a basic rundown on what's available there to use. So let's actually have a look then at how you might want to start. Well, the first thing to remember is don't use lots of different font styles. And if I click on this one here, I've decided that in there, I'm going to double click on that, highlight that, and I'm going to choose a text, a font that I like to go in there. So not going too crazy. This Alerta stencil, I think I'll try that. I'm going to click in there and I'm going to put Alvar Alto. Okay, I'm not too happy about how large that is at the moment, and just like when you're using Word or something like that, you can highlight that and make that a little bit bigger or smaller just to suit. But it's going to be a major title for me, so I might want to start looking down here to make it look a lot larger when I come to edit this. Okay, so just to go back, I better go back a step there, or it's not letting me do that. There we go. Let's click on that again. ALBARAALTO. There we go. Now I can change the colour as well. Personally, I like the white, so I can come in here and change that to white. Yep, I'm happy with that. I'm not bothered about the size yet. Now I'm going to put in a quote that or I'll put some information about him first. I think Hugo Alvar Alto was born in 1898 in Finland. So that's way too large, as we can see, but because that was already preset, there we go. Now I've got a different font because that's what's been set. I'm not too happy with that font, so I'm going to go back in here. I want Alvar's name in quite large, so Alerta stencil, I'm going to use that one, and then I'm going to just boost that up to 32. Now one's over on top of the other, so I'm going to stretch that out, select that one there and pull that down, and again you can clearly see the guidelines that's going to pull one box in line to line it up with another. Yep, that text there is the Alerta stencil. Again, that's in Montserrat, so I'm just going to get on that and go on Alerta stencil, because I don't want to use lots of different fonts. I might be able to, in this case I can't be able to because I'm locked out of it. I could put that in italics, or I could put that there, look, if I highlight that, it might let me put it in bold. It's allowing me to underline it. Personally, I don't think that'll look too hot, I'll underline, so I'll just knock that off. But you need to have a play, you need to have a little bit of a practice, because you will find that for some fonts especially, this is more available than others. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I can go on and write a lot more text in there should I so wish, or return it and it will let me go onto the next line, and so on and so forth. So that's just playing about with text a little bit. Now this line here, I'm going to double click on that. If I want to change that line, I can go to the colour of that line. Why I'd want to make it red, I don't know, because that from a design point of view and graphically would look awful. But I can actually, I'll go back to white because that's looks lots better. but I can double click on that line. Again, if I want to make that line a little bit thicker, look, there we go. Thicker or less thicker, or if I want to make it a thick band or something like that. Again, that thick band there is way too thick for such small fonts or lettering here. I'd make those larger and that larger, but I'm going to go back on there and I'm going to make that actually not quite as thick. So I'll go back down to about 30-odd%. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now that's 30%. Anything else I play about down here, I'll probably make that about 30% as well. Then when I have a look at the overall document, if it's not working, I might need to drop it to 20. But we'll just have to see. The line style itself, again, do I want it dashed? Do I want it dotted or something like that? I can always go to undo. That's a quick way out of it. Yeah, I'm relatively happy with that. So again, if I don't want something on there, all I'm going to do is just take that and delete it. Okay, if I'd like one of these circles up there, I can go Command C and then Command V, and I can paste it and drag that up there. If I want to shift and pull at that corner, I can make that larger. I'm going to get rid of that context there. I don't know where that's from. I'm going to drag that back in there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so that circle's going to be somewhere there. I can do all the lining up and the justifying a little bit later. I think what's important is that you've got to sort of decide through your notes what you've got there that you really want to include text-wise. And remember that a good infographic doesn't confuse the reader. It makes it interesting for the reader. So, you know, if I decide to have 3 of those across there, 3 photographs, and there's some information about his work there, that's fine. If I decide on 4, that's great. If I want to maybe put 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 down here and put some text in here, that's fine. You know, it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to put an image now in there. So while I'm on my images here, I'm going to take the Palmio chair. Yep, I like that. That's coming way too big, look. And I've got to remember to shift to actually scale that down. And then I can grab that and fit that in where I'm looking. Yep, that looks pretty good. Might take it slightly bigger. Yep, that's not too bad. Again, if I want to make the background, the circle, larger or smaller, or maybe make that a rectangle and lay one over the other. You know, again, like I say, for fear of repeating myself, it is about actually, you know, having a play, having a practice. Every now and then, go to save. And if you save it, you'll see that it's updating the visual. As long as there's a little tick in that box there, that means that's saved. And you mustn't forget to save it. That's really important. Now, my advice to you is that you put in 3 to 5 pieces of furniture that your furniture designer is actually is famous for, if you like, in the world of furniture design. Always put some text in, maybe the title of the piece of furniture, the date that it was designed, maybe some information about the manufacture techniques or the materials if there was something that was new for that time. I would definitely focus also on a major piece because it gives it a little bit of a highlight and a focus to the infographic. I would certainly include some general information about the designer himself or herself, and always make sure that the title is there nice and clear. Don't write too much for the title. Look at the information that I provided for you about, you know, the 12 points or so that make a good infographic. I would also look to somewhere include an image of the designer themselves and just a little bit more generic information there. Again, we can change any of this. If you want to sort of move this and you don't like that line, just delete the line. If you want that there, that's okay. If we want to take this and just move this up here out the way and delete that line there, we can always copy and paste that one from there if we wish. We want to pull this one down here, look. Yep, I like that a little bit better. And then if we want to join this up with a line, it's entirely up to you what you decide to do. But don't overcomplicate. Think about your backgrounds as well. And like I've said to you, I'm using Piktochart partly because I know it works. Now I'll save that. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is just I'll preview it. That's what it's looking like. Not too good because I've not done much work on it. I'll exit the preview, make sure it's saved. And then you can actually download it. Now we download as a PNG. You download as a PNG. And it's just loading there. So it's downloading, it's taking its time. Remember, it's dealing with photographs, different images and changes that you've made. Okay, then you'll get, would you like to open it? Okay, yes I would. And there it is. Okay, you can then look to print that out. I don't think you can get rid of that at the bottom, but that's not a major problem at all. So if I just close that for now, again, like I say, you really need to have a little play with this. Just updating again. All right. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And I'm going to load up. Again, you will see, look, there's the one that I'm working on. If I put this down and come back to a bit later, I'll go back to edit and it'll click up again. I'm now going to preview this one. This is the one that I've given you as an example look. And you can see I've put in about Alvo Arto. I've put a quote that he's famous for there. I've written about his Palmio chair and some information about that. This closed loops laminated wood forming arms and legs, and a good image of it there. And then look, I've done some more work. He was really into his one of the forefathers of bentwood furniture, and I've just selected those various pieces there, and then a little bit of information about him and a photographic representation of him as well. So really what it's up to now is for you to actually have a bit of a play. Just remember, there are a number of different templates that you can actually have a go with. Some are far more suitable than others. I mean, this one over here, this holiday newsletter, certainly isn't. Maybe this one here, remembering you can change some of the coloured backgrounds. I would say probably that this Change.org and this crowdfunding art, Tangerine possibly is. Remember, you can change the colours, change the backgrounds. These three at the bottom, you could possibly use those. It really depends on what you would like to do. So make sure you've read through the information that I've provided for you in your student resources. Have a look at the 2 exemplars that I've done for you. Make sure you have a good play before you have a go at this yourself. So thanks very much for watching this e-tutorial. The best thing to do now is have a bit of a play. Thanks very much.